Okay, so something that's played out a million times over, maybe not a million, but a lot over the past 10 years since we've been on social media, is the idea of a scandal. So you have an incident, you have an individual who is being accused by a party in a city that some people know about, but most of the people commenting are not from that city at all. They're just following it and they're being introduced. Sometimes they're even introduced to the personalities for the first time. And the nature of social media is that it makes people take positions, and people then start making claims or start making assumptions or start making statements or start making conclusions. That's the word I'm looking for, based on limited knowledge on the situation. And so does Surat Al-Nūr guide with regards to these particular circumstances?
So much. So I don't even know where to start.
AlMaghrib Institute presents Q&A with Kamal al-Mekki.
If you look at the wording in the verses, referring to the ifk, so from verses 11 until 26.
Ifk?
So the incident of the ifk is the accusation against Aisha.
So is that what that translates to?
No, the word ifk is amazing because we have a lie, which is when what is spoken does not match the truth.
Okay.
And we have ifk, which is stronger than a lie. And they say, أفك الشيء إذا قلبه عن وجهه. يعني الإفك it's basically, linguistically, it's when something is flipped over completely.
Okay.
So a lie can have some truth to it. So like say, Brother Bilal has a really vicious cat, right? But his cat is not vicious, a very gentle cat. So what I said wasn't true, but there was still some truth, and that is, you have a cat. Let's just go along with it.
Used to.
Okay?
Long time ago.
Yes. So you have a cat, that is true, but it's not vicious. But in the ifk, there is absolutely not an inkling of truth. So if I say, Brother Bilal has a cat, but Bilal is allergic to cats, hates cats, never even thought of having a cat, there's no truth whatsoever. So it's really powerful that Allah didn't call it
fabrication.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, just also an interesting point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to the village of Lut alayhi salam as al-mu'tafika, because it was flipped over by the angel. So Allah used this word ifk, and it means there's no truth in it whatsoever. Nobody would have done this, but if it was a lie, then they say, well, there could be some truth. No, it's an ifk, complete fabrication, completely flipped over.
Okay.
So it just starts off by that. Just from that definition, from that word, you know that it's going to be a complete, total defense of Aisha radiallahu anha. The other thing is, then the language to the believers, the way Allah addressed the believers, telling them how, Wallah, it's so powerful, how you should have behaved, what you should have thought, and it says how you should have internally thought of it as well. It's not even acceptable for me if someone is attacking your honor to defend your honor and internally think he did it. But because I have no evidence, my job Islamically is to defend him, but internally I think you did it. Even that is not acceptable.
Okay.
Even the thought, you should have said هذا إفك مبين, not just ifk, but a clear ifk, because the companion that was accused with Aisha, he dropped her off in broad daylight at the tent of the Prophet ﷺ.
Okay.
And if anyone is guilty, I tell people, like in modern terms, that's like someone cheating with someone's wife, and then in his car he drops her off to his doorstep in front of everyone, not even at night, like in front of everyone. Guilty people don't behave like that. If anyone is guilty, we don't walk into the city together. Okay, you go in, I'm coming 3 days later at night from the back of
dropping you off 10 blocks down.
Absolutely. For this, you should have said this is a clear ifk, it's a clear lie. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's so powerful. He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةُ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Those who love for evil, the fahisha, illicit activity, to spread amongst the believers, لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. For them is a severe punishment, torment in this world and in the next world. To the end of the verse. But here's the part. Some of the Mufassirin said that those who spread it, they're the ones who will have severe torment in this world and the next. And then the others said something more powerful. They said, no. It says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ. those who love for the fawahish to spread amongst the believers. It didn't say those who spread it, those who create the falsehood, the scandal, those who are involved in the scandal. They're saying, this group of scholars are saying, those people who just stood back, they didn't take part, they didn't post, they didn't chime in with their 2 cents, they just stayed away and they had no part in it whatsoever. Really clean, right?
Yeah.
But internally, they love that this spreads amongst the believers.
Okay.
Those are the ones promised punishment in this life and the next.
So what about everybody else?
How strong is that?
Yeah.
For us to live off of scandals and just wait for the next scandal, so
all these tabloids.
that's exactly it. So like we're a society where these tabloids thrive and you thrive on, and this scandal and this accusation, that again, going back to why the course was called confidential.
Yeah.
Because even if you see that, keep it to yourself. Just keep it confidential. Don't spread it around.
So from that verse then is a person should feel disappointed, a person should feel hurt, a person should feel like they hate for these types of events to happen.
Absolutely. And you should hate for that brother the same way you would hate for yourself to have this being spoken about you and this accusation about you.
Okay, so this is all about witnessing something happening. Okay, what about the situation where the person is affected by it? They're the target of the scandal, right? Now, in the case of Aisha radiallahu anha, and in the case of the man who had walked in on his wife who was cheating on him,
Yes.
right? In both cases, the relief came to them divinely,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Giving them both a way out,
Yeah.
right? And proving their own, I guess, innocence in their in the situation. If I was affected by that, I ain't got no divine verses coming.
Very good. And that's why the verses of ifk, we said, they start from 11, they go up to 27. Verse 11 that starts with ifk says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ جَاءُوا بِالْإِفْكِ عُصْبَةٌ مِّنكُمْ. Those who brought forth the ifk, the accusation, are a group from amongst you. لَا تَحْسَبُوهُ شَرًّا لَكُمْ بَلْ هُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Don't consider it a bad thing, rather it's a good thing for you. So the scholar said, how is it a good thing? Because now we've got these verses and they're there for everyone until the day of judgment who is accused. You see? So it's not, okay, yeah, they exonerated Aisha. But then look at towards the end here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَعِظُكُمُ اللَّهِ. Al-maw'idha is Allah like warns you, admonishes you. But so when you give me an admonition, you admonish me, it has a meaning. But when Allah is admonishing, some of the mufassirin said, it means Allah yuharrim alaykum, makes it haram for you. Because an admonishment from Allah would have to be Allah prohibits and makes it haram for you to do that. يَعِظُكُمُ اللَّهِ أَن تَعُودُوا لِمِثْلِهِ أَبَدًا. It's really powerful. It shuts the door forever if you follow the teachings. It says Allah prohibits you, makes it haram for you to return not to this story, this is our verse against those today, that sect where that accuses Aisha radiallahu anha. Those who today bring up the issue, the verse didn't say don't you ever bring up this issue to this story again. It says Allah makes it haram for you to ever do this to anyone ever again. لِمِثْلِهِ, something similar to this ever again. Okay. So we're all protected under these verses. We're all exonerated by these ayat. No new revelation will come for you. It already came for you 1400 years before you existed. So everyone's protected on these verses. But again, it's really, if we really knew how beautiful our teachings were, we wouldn't have these scandals. And then we're so into scandals.
But we're gonna have them.
Yeah. There was a scandal there was a scandal. And I knew of it before it came out, hit the public. Okay. So I wrote something on my page. I said, for the next couple of weeks, thousands of people are going to incur lots and lots of sins. Stay out of it. Don't comment. Stay out of it. Who's with me? And some people like, I'm with you. And they knew some of the scandals started coming out. Some people, I'm with you. And then the rest were so mad that my advice was stay out of it. And they were sending me private messages and people getting mad at me and people reprimanding, what about defending the honor and what about defending the deen and what? Who told you you're the defender of the deen? Just stay out of it. Don't get sins. I was getting blasted for saying don't comment. Yeah. Because how can you not comment? It's a scandal, man. That's what we do.
But
wait for them.
You do have the question of, I want to participate on the side of defending the victim.
Yeah.
Even though this person is in another city, for example. I mean, most of the people are commenting. They're commenting from all over the world. They're getting involved. It's not really the local people who are, but it's about holding people accountable. It's about putting pressure. It's about, creating a culture of accountability, right? So what advice is there then for that type of attitude?
Yeah. Try to be nice here,
Don't be.
Like
go point blank.
So let's say the one that I'm talking about, there were no clear victims, but everyone's a victim. Like everyone has no responsibility. Like mature people, but they were just. If you really know the insides of some of the stories, there was not any clear-cut victim. You're just basically taking sides. If you knew, let's say, a sister involved in something, then you give her direct support. Like, I have to, chime in on this hate page because I'm showing that... By the way, let me tell you something. I'm going to keep it straight, okay? One of the most damaging things now is that everybody thinks they're an activist, and everyone thinks they're a watchdog. Because of social media. Everyone thinks they're a watchdog. Everyone thinks they're going to have the next expose. This happened to me in one city somewhere here where I said the N-word. I did not say that N-word. I said the N-word.
Like literally the N-word.
That's what I said.
Okay.
And this lady comes to me. And she's not black. Okay. Which it's kind of a black thing that she's, Daisy. And she comes and she's like, you said the N-word. And I didn't think that was appropriate. I said, okay. And she said, I know you said not to come to you with these things. I thought, okay, but here you are. That's the first, all right? And she said, you said the N-word. I said, yes, I said the N-word. What did you want me to say, yani?
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't think that was appropriate. That was not correct and all that.
So she's she's offended on behalf of the African American community.
Yes. And I said, the N-word itself, I don't have an issue with it. The word itself, right. I don't have an issue with it. So, and she just stood there. I told her, you can see that we're not going to agree. So I don't know what you want me to do. We're not going to agree. And it's an issue of, even within the black community, this is debated. Like some people say we should never use the N-word. And other people, they have this argument, which I like. They say this word used to be the equivalent of the atomic bomb that you would drop on a black person.
Yeah.
But now we've completely taken that
and we've
owned it. Yeah, and we've what's the word? Like when you made it powerless now. So anyway, look, we're not going to agree on this point.
And you didn't even say the word. You literally said those three words. You said the N-word.
Yeah. Okay. So then what happens? After I left, she spoke to the imam, the board of the masjid, tried to reach out to local newspapers, trying to create
black guy says the N-word,
a ruckus out of this. Why? So you got two really dangerous things in the community. One where everyone thinks they're the watchdog. It's really bad. The other thing is where if someone wants to be known as an activist, they climb on the back or they basically sacrifice a sheikh or some known person, and they'll be the one who exposed, sheikh so-and-so. And so people are just waiting for a slip up so they can say, oh, he said this and he said that, and create the next hashtag.
But it's not even necessarily shuyukh. I mean, obviously shuyukh are definitely part of it, but it's anybody. Who is...
Anybody.
I mean, what social media is allowed is it's allowed for Muslim celebrity. So you have a lot of people who are in a lot of different fields who become celebrities for whatever reason, and they're like any other celebrity. They get taken down.
Here's the thing. Okay, fine. There is a level of quote-unquote celebrity. To be fair and to be honest about it, it's really micro-celebrity.
That's fine. But it's relative celebrity.
Easily a micro-celebrity. Yeah. Just within that it's relative, demographic.
Right? So any celebrity or any fame is relative. If you're comparing them to Michael Jackson in 1983, then they're not
no,
that
but
famous.
Even on a general trend, somebody might be celebrity, but even within the Muslim social media space, somebody might be, micro celebrity, but within the Muslim space, I'm sure half the people don't even know who they are.
That's fine. That's fair. But it's still real. That's the point.
It's a question of
it's still a real
weight.
Scandal.
It's because if they say something, or if they're affected, because
It's still enough to destroy that person's life. It's still enough to destroy that person's family. It's still enough to destroy that person's like life's work, right? The reputation they built. It doesn't matter if 99% of the ummah is not going to be aware of what's happening in this particular.
So the real question is, how does one defend against that?
Defend against?
Yeah, let's say everybody has some level of fame. It's just a matter of scale. Right, especially if you're
I think definitely one of the ways to defend against it is that a person avoids shubuhat, a person avoids doubtful matters, and a person avoids sort of
avoiding. Okay, I get it, but like it's happening, right? It's like
you're talking about the person being accused.
Yes.
Well, if it's happening, it's happening. Like, what are you going to do at that point?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, but imagine a world
then
where
you endure, like Aisha radiallahu anha endured.
Where every other speaker just stayed out of it and advised people how to behave in times of scandal. Whereas I can think of one scandal where every speaker posts about it.
Yeah.
And so this guy's on this team and this guy's on that team, and you're just basically adding fuel to the fire. Whereas what if everyone said, you guys stay out of this, this is not the way, Islamically this is what you should do, blah, blah, blah. And everyone just made that comment. But people are just adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
The argument, of course, then against that is going to be, okay, so we're all quiet. That's just going to allow for people to continue to do what they do and for people to continue to abuse and for people to continue, right? It's this type of pressure that causes, even though it doesn't, I mean, it's not resolving anything. One of the interesting things, though, is even when you talk about activism and people want to be gatekeepers and people want to be activists, it's still a very shallow activism. So for me to just comment on this for 5 days is not me really helping the victim.
Not really.
Right? It's not me going and being a true support system for them. It's not me even going and investigating on the case and actually seeing or maneuvering the people who should be involved in the case, whether that's scholars or whether that's judges or whether that's whoever it is, for them to actually be able to resolve the issue and to protect that individual, or even to create...
That would be real activism.
Yeah, or to actually create organizations that can actually mediate, but that's long-term legwork. It's not just a knee-jerk, let me just destroy this person real quick.
Well, then here's a real question, though, is if somebody truly wants to be an activist and, use that, I guess, the trending culture of today as a means of developing oneself and establishing things that might be of virtue in the future, what are the things that people should be doing to be a real activist?
It's like sincerity. Like a lot of it is, even when you talk about sincerity and activism, it's like a lot of it is boring meetings, sitting in rooms. Like compare the amount of people who actually do the day in, day out organizing.
You say boring meetings like this, like is this?
I meant like in rooms like this. But the point is,
that's not helping.
Good thing he didn't point at you.
Boring.
But like you're talking about strategy and planning and stuff, like compared to the amount of people who will come out to a protest and take selfies at the protest, right?
Yeah.
So one is real legwork.
Yeah.
And the other is, just the fire or the flame. And so people are going to be attracted to that. But if a person really is bothered by these issues and they really care about solving these issues, then they've got a lot of legwork ahead of them.
Okay.